A man can spend 20 mil and still not be resentful because when he looks at the bundle of joy.
That's how women console themselves.
No. If you're with a woman who is really looking out for you,
What would she do?
She will pull her own weight now.
I love the Western culture where the parents, the dad pays for the wedding costs. Imagine that.
Yes.
The dad will pay for the wedding.
I'm waiting for what you're going to. But you know this,
But
okay?
this Nollywood lady, what's her name?
Tonto,
yeah, who said that she financed her own stuff.
So if you have that kind of woman, you ain't got no problem. That's a thing.
And when they call women kings and queens, that's one.
Because she did it.
She pulled weight like a man.
I like how you put a respect on her name because she pulled the weight.
That's
so
right.
when women pull that kind of weight, you put a respect on her name.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you.
Respect, brother.
Why you marry him working there, man?
Welcome to Besty and Smoke podcast.
Talking the BS.
Welcome to the Besty and Smoke podcast, the BS podcast. We are hoping that you are fine today, as fine as fine wine, aging with grace. This is the place where you can hang out with us, and we're always looking forward to having your company. Do not forget that you can follow us on social media. That's at BS Podcast NG. When you get to YouTube, endeavor to smash that subscription bell and be a part of the family. I'm never here alone. I've got my co-host, the B in the BS.
Yes, of course. You're welcome to the Besty and Smoke podcast. Now, before I get into it, this is someone's month, so I'd like to say happy birthday to you. Come on, I know you wouldn't want me to do this, but I had to. You were talking about aging like fine wine. Hello? Okay. It's not yet your birthday, but this is your month. For someone who is aging so fine, you should be, you should embrace your birthday.
For someone who's aging so well, like, what the heck was that? If this was to be a woman, she would go ballistic.
Twist this compliment, okay? But you and I know that you are
a woman will go
like
ballistic.
No, actually, a woman will accept the compliment.
Oh, really?
It will be like, wow.
I mean,
it will get people guessing. How old is she? She looks so. I mean, for someone to say this, someone who has inside information.
Okay.
So
let's not waste time talking about birthdays.
I am saying happy birthday to you. It's your birthday.
It's not my birthday.
It's not
today.
the birthday, but it's your birth month.
I mean, if you're really crazy about your birthday, I think it's the most incredibly childish thing to want to celebrate.
Yes,
Why?
I guess that makes me childish, and that makes millions of people out there who go ballistic about their birthdays childish because
it is childish
for you, but for me, come on, it's a time to evaluate yourself, to ask yourself.
Oh, really? How many people do evaluate?
You thank God for the new year, okay? It's a time for you to be thankful because some people started the journey, but they did not make it to that particular year.
When you come to think of it, what is so fantastic about moving from one year to the other? Are you better than those who couldn't make it?
Then that's actually the main reason to be grateful.
There's nothing special.
Appreciative. It's you being glad because you know
that
there
is nothing exceptional. Because there's nothing exceptional happening in life.
You are so cynical.
I'm not. I'm just being real. I mean, if I should not wake up tomorrow morning, life goes on.
Yes, it goes on. So while you are still here, can you just let life be? Enjoy it. Because it's nothing given, it could end like that. So why not you just be good with it? Why not you just be thankful with it? But you're always like, this wasn't how I thought this was going to go. I thought I'm going to wish
should have known better.
I should have known better, but I thought since we're here, you'll be a different. You just accept it and we just move. But no, you had to just go and be typical.
Do you see that thing about setting me up?
I was no.
You were setting me up to act differently.
No, Mr. Smoke. That's a lie. That's a lie. I was expecting you to just not be like.
Oh gosh.
But you had to. It's just,
I'm sorry for disappointing you.
Well, I am really disappointed. You really disappointed me.
Okay.
If I'm to
can we move on real quickly to other things? Please, ma'am.
I don't like you right now. You see,
what you have to deal with.
I have to deal with. This is just like
Oh,
tip of the
goodness
iceberg.
gracious.
This is Besty and Smoke Podcast.
Talking the BS.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about today?
Well, today, oh my goodness, we're going to be looking into something that nearly touches every relationship at its core: the power of money in family and marriage.
Money, power, respect. Money, power,
Whether you
respect.
like it or not. Yeah, so specifically, we're going to be focusing on how money decides when to marry, who to marry, and how to marry. So this is going to be quite a long conversation because I
I
feel
really
like
hope it's a short conversation.
yeah, it's going to be a long conversation, certainly. Now, money deciding when to marry.
Money having that power to make you or break you when it comes to making a decision as
When
to
to marry.
when to marry. I think it was on this platform that I talked about how a lot of my friends were like, dude, yeah, go do it
Why
already.
aren't you doing it?
Why'd you,
You
and
waste
I
time,
was
bro.
just taking my time. I made it seem like I was taking
Taking
my
your time with
time,
it.
but I wasn't really taking my time. I was just calculating my coins. You know what I'm talking about, because there wasn't enough coins in the vaults. So
Is this the same issue with every man?
yeah, I think so. Every man, before you even date, okay, before you date, you have to think, because these are things that will take money from your pocket.
So
Dating is expensive. Being with a woman is expensive. Because of the culture we have. I don't want to always be like I'm dumping on women, okay? But just talking to a woman gets money out of your pocket.
Well. Sorry,
I know you want to say
I
that
I don't want to.
it's not every woman.
No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to. I do believe the same thing,
Okay.
but I know that where you're coming from with it is not the same place I'm coming from with it. Because if you are to ask a woman out, you want to take a woman out. In fact, to actually exist cost money. I'm not saying to live, to just exist, because you eat, you feed, you dress yourself. That costs you money.
Yeah.
Because you need money to do that, all that stuff.
what are you saying then?
So relationship as well cost money. The good things in life cost money. So it's not just about, the women of today. I know women of today. Okay. I know, like I said, that's where you're coming from. Because, I think they say,
A
broke
woman would
niggas don't
never
deserve-
understand what happens in a man's life.
You always...
To be a man is the most incredibly difficult thing.
Okay.
Because, all right, let me start with wanting to approach a woman.
Okay.
Money will have to decide whether you actually go after what you like or not.
Money will decide for you, not because the woman is already demanding money from you, but because the situation demands you to have the money.
Why are you insisting on punctuating everything I say? You
I'm
have
not
a different opinion when you
I
don't.
don't have a different opinion, but I know there is an underlying meaning, which I want to, from the beginning, point it out. So when you drop it like it's hot, because I know you're going to make it about women of today always asking for money.
Okay.
I want to make you realize that
Defender
it's the situation
of the
Oh my
universe
goodness.
at it again.
Why? It's the situation. Because the situation
You asked me a
demands...
question and you can't even let me answer it.
Apologies. Please carry on. I think I'm just trying to, point out some things at the beginning before we get into it.
Wow.
So carry on, please.
I mean, is it guilt for women?
Hi, Chineke. No. It's not. Why am I even defending this? I don't care what you call it. Just okay, you can have the floor. It's just talk your talk.
No.
But I just know I said this.
gosh.
I know I said this. He's going to come back to where he's going to say women asking for money. I said this. Just know it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now, carry on.
I don't really know where I'm headed
You're
with
going
this.
to head there.
You know,
you and I know this is where you're heading.
I cannot see my destination right
Oh,
now. I'm
okay.
just telling the story
I'm
of
the
my
prophetess.
my experience and the experiences of so many men out there. Now, supposing you see this girl, right? She's classy, she's beautiful. As a young man, okay, you're probably 18, 19, 20, even 21, all right? Right at that point when you want to make an impression, you want to impress a lady, you want to make a splash. The ability to make an impression, a good impression, a splash, will depend to a certain extent on money, okay? Because you have to look the part. If she's classy, you want to look classy yourself. If you do not have the ability to look classy in order to measure up, you would never want to go ahead.
Because you
You
know,
you you you'd really have a huge, an incredible amount of self-confidence to not be classy and approach a girl who is classy.
You know, the same thing applies when they say if you're going for an interview,
Yeah.
you dress the way you want to be addressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gracious goodness. Literally saying what I said, but in a different way.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know that it's. I just want to start nipping it in the bud before it escalates.
So you have to really look classy to approach this classy lady that you know, the apple of your eyes. If you cannot look that part, you'd probably have to downgrade. Okay, look for what's on your level, because a lot of women will tell you you're not even on my level.
Oh.
And I'm not dumping on anyone right now. This is real talk. This is
'Cause
something.
it's not
This is
Nollywood
something
now.
every man has maybe experienced in life. Now you have to be really, really creative to not have money and still look classy. Okay, it has to either be your courage. You have that vibe around you already. If you are gifted like that, like you have game, or you have that style or charm, doesn't really matter what you call it, but people have that presence that sort of like subdues any other thing that may not really be on
Okay.
point. Okay, so if you have that courage or you have that game, you have that style going for you, you might really be able, but you may not know it. As a young man, you may not necessarily know that you have game until you realize that you don't really need to have the most to be able to get a woman's attention. That's when you begin to now be confident in your skin, the way you are. But prior to that knowledge, when you are still beginning to interact with the opposite, with girls, you are going to have nerves,
Hard time.
anxiety, asking yourself whether you really measure up. So money helps you here. Money helps you dress up. Money helps you think that you can do things for her that she deserves, and things of that nature. So there you have it. Money making that decision as to
When.
who, how, even before you begin to talk about marriage, who to approach, how you approach them, when you approach them. I remember when I was broke and unemployed, relationship was completely off the table for me,
So
because
you don't want to do love wanting thing.
because I didn't want to, even though I do not believe in spending on a woman. Okay, that's me. Sorry. You probably do. That's your thing.
Spending on a woman. Define spending on a woman.
I don't have the time to do
I
that.
think you should.
I don't have to. Spending on a woman means spending on a woman. Okay?
Spending?
Trying to impress a woman with money and all of that. So I don't believe in doing that. Okay? So I think I lost what I wanted. I was going to say. So
This is just hilarious for me. Okay, you were talking about when you were broke and when
yeah, so when I was
Give me
broke,
credit for a moment.
yeah, when I was broke and unemployed, I knew that I didn't want to go and embarrass myself. Now, it wasn't because I didn't believe I had class or because I didn't believe I had the presence. I actually knew I had those things, but I also was a real person who was realistic about life. and I knew that I wasn't in the place psychologically, right, mentally to want to start, just being there. Okay. So money made me emotionally unavailable. I could recall a couple of women, lady friends, who would actually want to migrate a friendship to something, uh, you know.
Serious?
But, yeah, but I was never having it. So I became that,
Emotionally unavailable?
no, like that clueless guy. Like all the green light, the guy know the see.
Oh,
You get.
yeah.
So I could just form cluelessness. Like I don't really see what you're doing. Like I don't understand that you like me and that you're trying to give me that green light and all of that. That was me trying to protect myself
Because you couldn't finance a relationship then.
because I could not. They say no romance with no finance. It's an old school song. You probably don't know it.
Whatever.
So money's always a big deal. And when it came to deciding to marry, where money was a big deal before, money became a huge deal.
I think it's really more of who you are than the money itself. Because there are guys who have less,
Yeah.
but they are married.
Yeah,
Why that?
There's a certain level of comfort I want to provide for my family.
Okay.
And I know that being married automatically launches you into having a family. I recall having a conversation that was during the Christmas trip to the village. So me and my cousins were talking. All of them were married.
Okay.
So it was like I was the butt of the joke. Okay, they were, ribbing me, like,
Yeah.
this good-natured ribbing that friends and family do. So it was a bunch of cousins, and we're talking, and I told them that I believe it's a criminal act to actually bring a child into the world to suffer.
Did you believe that?
Yeah, I still do believe that, for real. I think it's a criminal thing, it's a crime to bring a child into the world to suffer. If you cannot give a life the basic comforts, give a child the basic comforts of life.
Well-
Why bring a child into the world?
Oh, I want us to stay within
The scope of the
scope
discussion.
of the discussion. Okay.
Now-
so now discussing about when
Yeah.
and who and how. Okay. Now we're going to get to how, which is going to really be where you're going to touch it up for me, because I'm trying to find how, like how money now decides the how.
Yeah.
But when I get.
Yeah.
Who I
For
also
a
get.
woman.
But some would say,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I know it's not Nollywood where the rich can go for the poor easily. And you've said this here that women find it easy marrying up,
Yeah.
while most men marry down.
That's right.
This means a man can settle for someone who
Below his class.
below his class financially,
Yeah.
maybe not just financially, but women in a way we always want to marry up. Someone who
So that makes a man, that puts that double
Pressure.
click pressure on a man, because if class is calibrated on a scale of 1 to 10, and the woman you want is a 5, right? That means you have to be a 7 to be able to get her.
that's a kind of a disadvantage for men.
Yeah, it is a big disadvantage for men. A woman, not all women, okay? This is where I concede that fact that women, not all of them necessarily care about class and money and things of that nature, but the average woman doesn't want to marry someone who's poor like her, okay? Someone who has needs like her, someone who is struggling like her. So she wants someone who can make her life better. So that's why you have men trying to struggle in order to be that man who can make her life better. And that's how money decides for him. Because if you
It's marry.
if you cannot get to that point, there's that possibility that the lady would not want to marry you because you cannot provide the things that she wants. No romance with no finance.
realistically speaking, I do see where I that's actually it. I can't argue that. There is a but.
Of course, there is.
There is a but. Because you're speaking from the perspective of a man. As a woman, there's this knowledge that when a woman is too prosperous, too financially buoyant or stable,
When a woman is independent, financially independent.
She becomes a threat to a man, where any man who approaches her or who wants to approach her will feel threatened if they're not on her level in terms of finance. I'm not saying this because maybe the woman is trying to get someone who has more money than her, but it might be the men who actually want to approach this woman feeling a bit intimidated by her money.
Okay.
So in that case, this is probably going to limit the woman's
Prospects.
prospects.
Okay.
Now, this is not the woman's doing. She pursued the money, she got the money. So this is when you say money deciding when, and you see they say, oh, because you have too much money. There were times when they,
Or maybe it's not even your money; it's your parents' money,
it
your
might actually
family,
be
your
her
family,
money.
your family
It
money.
might,
Yeah?
it might be her parents' money too. Yes. Yeah.
That's what I was talking about when I said class. If you have that class where you have money in your background, whether it's your money or your family's money, it's going to push a man to want to measure up before he can approach you. If he has the inability, if he lacks the ability to do that, that's going to generate some kind of block. And he might not even want to go through with it. But if he was to be a man who has as much money as you do, he's comfortable,
Yeah.
your parents have a fleet of cars, and he has, or his parents have a fleet of cars as well.
I believe it's actually that thing that, because a woman is groomed to believe that she is entering in a marriage not to be responsible for taking, for the family, but it's a different thing for the man.
Yeah.
Because when a man is entering into a relationship, he's, he
Your
has
mindset
to factor in
is
the mindset
responsibility.
Responsibility. So
you're
as much as
calculating.
you're feeling good. So that's actually the huge or the best way to actually sum this up.
Now, money affecting when, how, where a woman marries, it's not a direct thing. It's an indirect thing. It's a secondary effect, right? Money stops the man dead in his tracks, but it doesn't do that for a woman. A woman could easily marry without having a dime to her name, but a man cannot do that. So money affects women indirectly, but it affects men. Their decision as to when, how, where, who to marry, it affects them directly, and it stops them dead in their tracks. A woman doesn't have to make money to marry. A woman doesn't have to bother her head.
I feel like in a greater sense, a man thinks more of the money before the marriage
And after.
and a bit after. Most times during the period of the marriage, where anything is possible, the burden can easily
Overwhelm
diminish. No, diminish. I know there are situations where a man spends all his money to get married,
Yeah.
to pursue a woman, to bring her into the home.
Yeah.
But that's actually it. Like, I feel like some men, I wouldn't say all men, spend money for the pursuit
Of the woman.
of a woman, getting married to her.
To lock the woman down.
Yes.
And then after that, he doesn't bother about impressing her with the money anymore.
Not really impressing, actually providing.
Okay. Because he don't spend all his money.
But why should that be the case?
If you're married to a woman who allowed you to get out of pocket in a really dramatic way.
You can't make the woman bad to justify the man's action.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what if you're
What
not
I'm
marrying
saying is,
someone like that?
I mean, a
There are
woman
situations
you
that-
want to get married to should be able to advise you, like, this is not really important.
So why did
Okay.
you? Because the thing there is, sometimes I'm like, you complain about your spouse, you complain about, maybe the woman you're with, and you talk about how she was like this, from the beginning. And in my head, I'm like, you brought this upon yourself. And the same thing with women who complain about some men.
You know,
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you brought
when you
this
say
upon
you
yourself.
talk about somebody watching might actually think you're talking about me.
Oh, no.
I'm just trying to, point that out to you.
Let me point out some things. There are some men who they don't spend before, but they spend after when they know it's a done deal. Some men, they're like that. Okay? While there are men who they spend for the pursuit, they spend to lock you down. Then once they know they have you in the back. I think a man actually said this to me one time that I found very, very almost
disrespectful.
No, demonic.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because there was no
weird.
explanation to it. He said that a guy had his friend actually had a relationship where he had to break his back like pursuing this girl. He had to literally convince this girl to that he's a worthy man for her. It took him about maybe months to woo her, finally to get married to the girl. So he said the friend now wanted to make the girl pay for putting him through the stress of pursuing her. So he's withholding some things. Does this make sense? So I feel like that's the same thing when a man paints a picture of being reliable financially, paints a picture just to woo the woman. It's deception at its core, only for you to bring the woman in, and you're intentionally starving, maybe not just the woman but also the kids, because people intentionally make it sometimes about the money. It's not just about the money. Yes, money deciding when. Of course, yeah, money can be so factor on, when you start, dating, but it's not just about the money. And talking about how, is it in terms of how elaborate the wedding is, or how big the ceremony, or
how long the list is, how long the bleeding list is. You might go to some people now. This is African culture coming to the fore again. So you are doing it pressing this girl yourself, right? So you're moving in for the kill. Right? Put it all in the bag. You go visit the family. Everybody's all good with you. So you're like, yeah, I'm the dude. I'm that man. And when it's time for the community to come together, they change them for you. They tell you bring one car.
How many experiences have you had?
500 DMs.
Hey, how many have you
10 gallon.
experienced
Can
or
you
witnessed?
let me?
Because the way you're listing this thing,
can you let
it's
me?
almost like somebody will be judging based on
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the men who have gone through this.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
500
about,
what?
brother, right? 500 tubers of yam.
And whose fault is it?
20 gallons of palm wine. 50 cartons
of yam.
of this brand of beer.
Cigarettes, don't forget that one.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Cola nuts.
By the time you're done tallying them up, you have like a meal plus, depending on the family though, right? The community rather. So you look at and finish. You tell the babe, see you be like, we'll go cancel this thing. And the girl will now try to be dramatic about how you don't love me and blah, blah, blah. You might be like, you know what? Okay. You know what we're going to do? We're going to skip all of that BS.
On the BS.
Yeah. Now time with day.
But no.
So we're going to skip it and stay in the town. And,
no.
But then you'll be like, no.
There's no respect on your name.
So now that's going to affect everything. Now I'm not even talking about wedding, right? And you tell me that a man will not be really, 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 really angry. What's that word? I'm always forgetting this word.
Same here. I think I know the word you're looking for.
And it's
resentful.
Resentment. So a man who has shelled out all these coins,
and then she'll now come and be calling you baby.
Who is set back by 5 mil. First of all, the traditional took him back. The wedding itself
why
by
you
5 mil.
Like you're
that's
meal,
almost
like you're just calling thousands.
That's almost like 10 mil.
How?
And now when you're married, when you're married,
marriage,
when you're married, the man will become resentful. Like
Why would you
Every
be
time he
resent-
thinks
See,
about
see,
how
see,
much money,
it's if you feel
if you're asking for things, the man will just
no,
bone.
no. I'm going to disagree with you, honey. Why? Because a man can spend 20 mil and still not be resentful. Because when he looks at the bundle of joy,
That's how women console themselves.
no. Hold on. You're making it, if you're with a woman who is really looking out for you, okay, who wants your best, who's not
What
there
would,
for
what
the
would she do?
she will pull her own weight now, not in terms of like, because there's this cultural
I love
there's
I love the
there's
Western
this-
culture where the
yes, you
parents,
love,
the
but you're
dad,
not- you're not
the dad
a-
pays
the
for the wedding costs. Imagine that.
yes
The dad will pay for the
I'm
wedding.
waiting for what you're going to, but you know this,
But
okay,
we
in
Africans.
terms I think when we talk about this bride price list and everything, it's actually a way to make men feel like they have ownership of the woman, okay, which is really a bad thing for the men right now, putting a lot of pressure on young boys and all of that stuff. But tradition frowns at women when they contribute to actually or
How would tradition know?
they will know now. That's what I'm saying.
How?
It's done on the download. They will know. So if you have a woman who understands you and who has the
Wasn't it this
ability
lady,
or
this Nollywood
to help
lady? What's her
you.
name?
Tonto.
Yeah, who said that she
Yes.
financed her own stuff.
So if you have that kind of woman, you ain't got no problem. That's a thing.
And when they call women kings and queens, that's one.
Because she did it.
Because she did it. She pulled weight like a man.
I like how you put in a respect on her name because she pulled the weight.
That's
so
right.
when women pull that kind of weight, you put a respect on her name.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you,
Respect, brother.
why you marry him working there, man?
Otibudimpa.
This is Besty and Smoke Podcast.
Talking the BS.
If you have a woman whose head is screwed on right, there's a day I said a man whose head is screwed on right. If you also have a woman whose head is screwed on right and she's looking out for you, I don't think she would be demanding. And even where she's demanding, she will pull her own weight, like Tonto did. So that's actually it. But true fact, yes, money decides when, who, and how. It plays a huge, if not 70%.
For a man, seriously speaking now, for a man, money decides who you approach to date, when you approach that person to date, how you approach the person to date. And beyond that, money also plays a big role, has a huge power, because we're talking about the power of money in marriage and family. We can't really get to family today, so we just might be talking about that later on. Now, money for a man, money is powerful.
I wanted to say that for a man,
Yeah.
okay, I fully agree that money decides who to marry, but it doesn't decide when and how.
Money for a
Yeah,
man.
okay, yeah, for a man, it decides how and who, but
Money
it doesn't
decides
decide when. Because
Money
a man
decides-
can
No,
marry
if a man doesn't have enough money,
when see that's-
Rapper.
no
He's
hold
not
on, let
thinking
me
of
tell you where
getting
I'm
married.
coming from, okay? Some men marry with less. A man can choose to marry with less, but now marrying with less means it will now factor in who you are marrying, how
that's money
you are
playing all the
marrying.
big roles
But when
in those decisions.
you're choosing to now take it now, you can say I'm going to marry now with less.
If you marry with less, it's going to affect who you marry.
That's what I'm saying. So it's taking more
And
toll
how.
on who and how.
That's right.
But not really when.
Yeah, maybe.
So for some men, it's really, about who and how, not really when. But while for some men is when, okay? So they can marry whoever and they can marry however.
Money is a powerful decision-making factor when it comes to men marrying. And for women as well, because they want you to have that heavy pocket before you can marry them.
Well, for me, I say I want to be independent, okay? Because I want to, be able to take care of my ish.
I think money is a very powerful thing. We're all chasing money in life. And I hope we all get it.
Oh, yes.
And I hope that at the end of the day, we
said
don't
that-
regret all the things we have to sacrifice
For the money.
for money.
Adekunle
Because life is definitely more than money.
Yeah, it is. He said something about that, money, they bring happiness. So now when he get money, he come realize. So he's not a hypocrite. So he would want you to have that money to know that.
That's right.
So yeah, money buys you a seat on the table of good life, but it ain't all of it.
On that note, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment, and also just always hang with us. We really appreciate you. Till next time, we say.
Ciao.
This is Besty and Smoke Podcast.
Talking the BS.